Dear friends, welcome. At all times, people were attracted by mysteries and miracles. For example, the 7 wonders of the word, Allah's. In our time, the old wonders have not survived. But there are other completely incomprehensible wonders that can enchant contemporaries. I am talking about Baikal, the diamond of the Russian land. This lake is of extraordinary beauty, full of mysteries. Look, the scientists say that this lake is ancient. It is several million years old. Tectonic shifts, crust faults. But the same scientists assure us that any lake silts up and dies in just 10,000 years, or even years. And in Baikal amazes with the purity of its waters. You can see the pebbles on the bottom, sitting in a boat, and 40 meters of viewing depth. Can you imagine? And did you know that China even tried to build a pipeline and use Baikal water for drinking? However, this idea met with violent opposition from the people, or business sharks could not peacefully that huge profit, which is not important now. The main thing is that the project was not implemented. Baikal is an unusually deep lake, considered deep freshwater bodies. A diving record was set here. In 2008, the bathyscaphe, Mir-2, managed to reach a depth of 1550 meters, but did not drift the bottom. However, there are scientists who are convinced that Baikal is not a natural wonder, but an ancient quarry of a former unknown civilization. After all, and all studies paint us a picture that does not fit into the stories about geological processes. And look at these maps of the bottom of Baikal for yourself. Does this remind you of anything? Agree? And this is exactly what a quarry looks like. One of the strangest phenomena of this lake is the Devil's Funnel, and this miracle of nature can be seen near Olkan Island, 20 to 30 kilometers to the east of it. Usually quiet water, according to eyewitnesses, suddenly begins to boil and a funnel forms, sucking in everything on the surface. So one fisherman barely managed to escape. He was lucky with the motor, which nevertheless pulled the boat out of this boiling trap. Since then, he has not come close to these places. The cliff of Sagan-Zaba, on the western shore, according to legends, hides the treasures of the Chinese caravan. This is a very beautiful place with white cliffs, but no one have found gold yet, although many have tried. However, there are stories about other treasures, much more valuable. For example, now authoritative historians are sure that the retreating army of Admiral Kolchak, having cut through the have sank several carts with gold from the Kazan Bank. The white officers had neither horses nor food, and they themselves were making a desperate, risky crossing, trying to break away from the pond. After all this happened in the cold, in a blizzard, the white officers who hid this treasure probably died, and no one knows where to look for it. Another beautiful legend about unknown creatures living in the depths of the lake still causes lively debate. Its essence is as follows: submarine swimmers, Russian Naval Special Forces, train in the waters of Baikal, and in 1982 they encountered several 3-meter creatures resembling people, or more precisely, a human amphibian, from a science fiction novel. The collision led to a tragedy, and 2 submariners suffered from decompression sickness as a result of a rapid surfacing. And the unknown strange creatures disappeared. Any enthusiasts even turned to the military for information, but naturally, the submariners deny everything. And although this no longer surprises anyone, these authorities hide too much from the people. Remember the cursed submarine. However, and not a word about politics. Another mystery of Baikal is its dark rings, which can be found in aerial photography. And these rings on the ice, 2 or more kilometers in diameter, are a proven fact, but their origin has not yet been explained. There is a theory that the reason for this is methane rising from the bottom of the lake, which for some unknown reason begins to rotate and rise in a spiral, and upon reaching the ice, heats it up. And is this heated, or rather melted, ring that looks darker? Well, what can I say? There is a theory, but there is no faith that it's reality. I will not even ask childish questions like, does this same methane draw similar rings on other lakes? Or not? And does the gas also rise in a spiral there, and spread out for several kilometers? And how deep should the lake be to get such circles? Anything, there is no point in disputing the theory. It's like with that funny beer. Can we meet a bear on the street? Asks the tourist. 50-50 answers the guide. How so? Very simple. Either we meet one or we don't. Two opts out. 50-50. But by the way, aren't you interested in mammoths? The same odds, by the way. After all, there is such a phenomenon on Baikal as mirages. They are often observed near the same Olkan Island, as well as near the Bolshoy-Yoshkin Island. And in the pictures that nature paints on the surface of the sky look colorful and very real. This is an amazing phenomenon, but even here scientists will spin a yarn about the difference in temperature, humidity, winds and frosts, and supposedly they understand everything about this phenomenon. Nothing mysterious, no mysticism, just physics. And the only question is, why does physics paint these mirages here, and not on the other side of Baikal? Where there are the same winds and the same temperature. A simple question will remain unanswered. But the point is not in scientists, and after all, an amazing phenomenon exists, and this makes me happy. There should be room for a miracle to word. For example, the water in Baikal glows. Yes, and everyone can see it, although the intensity of this glow varies there. This water is alive, and some particle of life creates this glow of water. This gives Baikal a peculiar order of mysteries. And the depths here are extraordinary, and the mirages are incomprehensible, and the water is alive, it glows. No, of course. You can assume that it's all about the unknown inhabitants of the depths. It's all about some US hiding outside of Baikal. And then the appearance of circles on the ice is understandable. This is a trace of the UFO's dive, and the bottom relief, and the man-made nature of its origin, and the appearance of funnels, and much more. Note, there are many stories of UFOs here, and there are even documented cases, but we will not do this. Let the secret remain a secret. A magician who reveals his secrets to the odd magicians. He destroys the miracle. Take another fact on Baikal, on its ice. You can find completely incomprehensible hollow rocks made of ice slabs, forming something like a pyramid with ice walls with an opening directed towards the shore. They can stand alone, or they can form a ridge, and no one knows how they were formed. Why are they hollow? How did the wind drill these cavities? Emits is another mysterious place on Baikal. Here you will not meet local fishermen or hunters. None has, go here. Avan will not advise you to visit this corner. They say that there is a high radiation background, that devices fail, and the engines are acting up, and the compass dances like it's drunk, that people experience incomprehensibles for no reason. Whether or not to believe these stories, everyone decides for himself. But as the Russian proverb says, there is heat without fire. And so remember, Mizredi is a restricted area, and in other respects, Baikal is an inspiring, joyful mirror. Probably. There used to be many more such miracles, and now what remains is what remains, and this is its great value. All the best, dear friends. We consider all unexplained, mysterious, and mystical phenomena on this channel. I invite all lovers of secrets and incredible events